Ooh, how exciting. We've arrived at the village of Clayworth in Nottinghamshire.
And the reason we're in Clayworth this afternoon is we are going inside the Church of St Peter's and we're going to find a piece of artwork that links a famous pre-Raphaelite female artist, a famous soldier and an England and Derbyshire Test cricketer.
Oh, can't wait to find out more.
So seeing as the sundial above the church reminds us that our days on the earth are as a shadow, I think we better get a move on.
Inside. There we go. So we're inside the church. These murals are absolutely beautiful. They're outstanding.
So I found a plaque that tells us why these murals are here. They were commissioned by a Lady Darcy Godolphin Osborne to commemorate the safe return of her son, Captain Joseph Laycock, from the Boer War. So whereas you go in many churches, you might find memorials to the dead, to those who never came back. Here we have something different. We have a war memorial, but it's a war memorial of glad tidings because a lady is celebrating the return home of her son.
Yeah, so we're in the chancel of moving towards the altar, where it's lighter because of the sun coming through and the light coming through that wonderful window there. So John, what have you found on there?
Right, so these murals were painted during the summer months of 1904 and 1905 by a lady called Phoebe Traquair. Phoebe was born in Ireland, but she lived her adult life in Scotland. She was married to an archaeologist and she was a significant figure in the arts and crafts movement. These murals are done in pre-Raphaelite style and they form the largest public piece of art in the east of England. So it's amazing in this quiet little church in this peaceful corner of Nottinghamshire we have such a significant piece of art. So let's take a closer look at what these murals show us. So on the north wall here I think we can see the wise men there bringing gifts, I think gold, frankincense and myrrh, to the infant Jesus being held by Mary there. On the wall opposite behind Dawn, we have scenes from the Last Supper. And every time I come in this church, I am just struck by how much this chap here reminds me of John McDonnell, the former Labour shadow Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Absolutely amazing. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it in any of the churches we've visited. And we do visit many churches on our tours around the country.
So we did a little bit of research about Phoebe Traquair and we found that there was an article about these murals being unveiled in the Queen magazine of 1905, and it says that she was a small woman with great ambitions and a large mind, which she never allows to be idle. In the article, Phoebe was quoted as saying, "The idea of decoration is to fill space." I think if we look around us, she certainly fulfilled that ambition in this particular work. She said in particular her ambition with these murals at Clayworth was to fill the space with song, to embody the rapture of praise, to embody the thanksgiving of the safe return of Joseph Laycock. So, having found out a little about Phoebe Traquair and her various pieces of art which were found in book illustrations and murals around the country, we're now going to investigate the life of Joseph Laycock, to whom this wonderful piece of art was dedicated. And we're going to see what we can find next that helps us understand more of the story of Phoebe Traquair, Captain Joseph Laycock and our mystery cricketer.
It's very exciting, this walk. So you enjoyed that visit into the church, John?
Always do. So, to find out more about the life of Joseph Laycock, we're going to take a short walk away from Clayworth, about 1.5 miles, to the neighbouring village of Wiston.
Ooh, can't wait. I do love a walk in the sunshine. And today is gloriously sunny, as you can see.
A beautiful, crisp October day.
Yeah, definitely.
This way.
Oh, I think I better follow. I think John has found a canal. So, walking down onto the canal now, watching my feet.
So yes, our walk from Clayworth to the neighbouring village of Wiston takes us along the Chesterfield Canal, commonly known as the Cuckoo Route. We are at bridge number 68 of the canal, which runs all the way from Chesterfield down in Derbyshire, all the way to West Stockwith up in North Nottinghamshire, and from there coal from the Derbyshire Nottingham coalfields was transported onto barges on the River Trent, out through the Humber and around Britain and Europe.
It's always find a sense of peace when I'm walking next to water.
And you're not the only fan of water in this story, because it turns out that Joseph Laycock, 3 years after those murals were painted, represented Great Britain at the 1908 London Olympic Games.
Wow.
Yeah, in the sport of motorboating.
Motorboating?
So, wonder how many times Joseph Laycock walked up and down here, perhaps taking to the waters, the Chesterfield Canal, to practice his motorboating.
Motorboating. Just love the colours of the trees when they've changed in autumn to the yellows and the golds. Oh, you can just see the church over there.
So Joseph Laycock was actually a career soldier. As well as serving in the Boer War, he later formed the Nottinghamshire Royal Horse Artillery, which is a battery that saw action during the Great War over in Egypt. And then right through to the Second World War, he was head of the Home Guard, or Dad's Army, in the county of Nottinghamshire. Prince Christian visited Wiston Hall, which we're heading towards, in 1913 to visit Joseph Laycock and his family prior to a trip into Doncaster to visit the St Ledger races that year.
I have to say, this is a stunning walk, and if you're in this area, I really recommend it. And as I said, it's a beautiful autumnal day. You can see the colours ahead.
It's a particularly quiet piece of canal. We rarely see anybody, just maybe the odd dog walker, occasionally a cyclist. The villages it runs through are quite quiet Nottinghamshire villages, so if you're looking for a quiet, contemplative inland waterway walk,
This is your one.
Cheers.
Amazing trees reflecting in the water. Stunning.
So we've now reached Bridge 70, and just to my right, a couple hundred yards away, is the village of Wiston, and we're just going to sit now, have a little bite to eat because it's getting past lunchtime, and then find out the story of how Phoebe Traquair, Joseph Laycock and our mystery cricketer are linked. So we can see we've arrived at the home of Wiston Cricket Club. If we pan round behind us, we can see Wiston Hall, which is a site of where Joseph Laycock lived. The house he lived in was demolished in the 1960s and has since been rebuilt. But we can clearly see the juxtaposition of the house, the boundary of the house, and the cricket ground here. Now, I've already established that Laycock was something of a sportsman. He represented Britain in the Olympics. He was keen on attending Doncaster races, and he was a leading member of the local Hunt Association. But another sporting passion of his was the game of cricket. Now, in 1913, he employed on his estate as a groom a man called Harry Eqypt. So Eqypt had been born in Scarcliffe in Derbyshire and had been employed as a miner and played cricket in various grounds in the mining areas. Now when Eqypt was taken on as a groom here, it must have been a real change from working down the deep, dangerous, dirty mines all day in these beautiful surroundings. And as well as being a groom on the estate, Laycock had Eqypt tend this lovely picturesque cricket ground behind me. Now when the First World War started and Laycock led his artillery battery out to Egypt, he had Eqypt join him in that battery, and at one point Eqypt recalled that he was given £50 by Laycock to go and purchase some cricket equipment so the soldiers could enjoy cricket matches as part of relaxation. In fact, we've now got on to one of my real passions and specialist subjects, cricket and warfare.
Don't get him started on that one.
Oh dear, no. So Eqypt, thankfully, as well as Laycock, came back safely from the First World War, and he was playing here one day, and a man called Sir Archibald White, who was captain of the Yorkshire team at that time, noticed that Harry Eqypt was a very fine wicket keeper, good player, so he thought, what could do with this man playing for Yorkshire? Unfortunately for Harry Eqypt, Yorkshire at that time had the exclusionary and discriminatory policy that only people born within the county boundaries could represent the county team. But he was taken on by Derbyshire, made his debut in 1920 in a match against Essex, and played for the county over 500 times between the two world wars. In addition, he was good enough to be selected 4 times for England. He toured South Africa, he toured India, and when he'd retired from playing first class cricket, he actually umpired in 7 test matches as well. So there we have it, the link between Phoebe Traquair and her murals, Joseph Laycock and his military career and sporting career, and Harry Eqypt, the Derbyshire and England test cricketer who played on this very ground working for Joseph Laycock, who lived in what was the very house over there.
So now we're going to take that walk back along the canal, that beautiful canal, enjoying the sunshine.
Now, one of the problems Harry Eqypt had in getting a county contract, as well as being born in the wrong county so he couldn't represent Yorkshire, was the fact by the time he returned from war he was in his late 20s. In fact, he was 28 when he was taken on by Derbyshire, which was a very advanced age to be earning your first county cricket contract. So he actually lied about his age. He said he was 24 and got that contract, which enabled him to play for Derbyshire for the next 20 seasons. But given the fact that Harry Eqypt went down the coal mines as a teenager, given the fact he served in the First World War and missed potentially 4 seasons of his cricketing career, no one can begrudge him that little fib that enabled him to pursue a very successful career as a county cricketer. Upon returning to the church, we were fortunate to meet the church warden and her friend, both very knowledgeable about the history of the murals. They told us that the boy on the right was a Tony Otter, who was a choir boy, and he would not sit still for Phoebe as she painted her murals, hence his head being held by his friend on the left. That boy, Tony Otter, went on to become Bishop of Grantham and is buried in the churchyard of St. Peter's near the mural on which he is depicted.